Hey there, it's Wayfair here, where delivery and setup are as easy as a few taps on your phone. You're relaxing in an old hammock, scrolling Wayfair's app, when you spot it, a brand new patio set. Next thing you know, Wayfair delivers it right to your patio and sets it up. Oh, you need a new grill too? All right, Wayfair's got you covered. With Wayfair's Room of Choice delivery and fast expert setup on qualifying orders, life gets a little easier. Visit wayfair.com or the Wayfair app.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Welcome to the Black Tax. There's an African proverb that says, "What is in the heart cannot be taken away." So often in our careers, we use material things to identify how far we've come from the beginning. We use those things to show our status, our success, the things that causes envy in other people. But when you break it all down to what the material thing actually represents, it doesn't represent your success. It represents to the other person who's seeing it, look what I've got and you don't. Your success is measured by what you define your success to be. And oftentimes we hold on to these material things as a means to remind us what we have accomplished. I'm guilty of it as well, but not as guilty. Let me explain. One of the things I learned very early in my career is the value of watches and why watches are such a commodity to have. Now, most people today, a watch is a watch. Most people are wearing Apple Watches. They're not spending the kind of money for a Rolex or a Petit Philippe or a Tag or a Panerai, whatever the hot watch of the day is. But when I purchase these levels of watches, some are everyday watches that I just wear. I like the variety of having a different watch on my arm, but they're also investments. So when things get lean, and as a Gen X, I've been through several recessions in this country, and I've had to find ways to protect what I have when I can't find a job or I can't find new clients, so that I can continue to build and brand my identity, my company, and my purpose. So the watch has become my safety net. It's the get me out of jail card kind of scenario. But there are things that are priceless to me. The very first watch that I purchased before I went to law school was a Tag Heuer. They don't even make the one that I have anymore, but it signifies the beginning, the start. And of all the watches that I have, it is still one of my favorite watches. When I ended my 30-year business and legal affairs career, I bought myself a 2-carat diamond stud set. And those two things will be passed along to my children, my nieces, whomever at the point I think is needing to have something that is valuable in sentiment versus valuable in price. These material items tend to lock us in a space of being. We look at it, we see our success, even if success isn't happening in the moment. We stare back at that moment in time when everything was right. But ask yourself, are you staring at what was right in that moment of time? Or are you hoping that you could reignite what you had then now? And let me tell you, you can't. Now is a different time, a different space, a different place. Your ingenuity has to ignite the difference. Holding on to the past by holding on to a material item that you purchased when you were being successful in what you deemed success was, can also hold us back from experimenting or experiencing new ideas, new concepts, new beliefs, stretching your mind to places you didn't think you were capable of stretching them to, all because you had the tenacity to try. See, that is the key thing here about items. Yes, the American dream is to work, buy a home, retire. That's the slogan. That's the myth that they tell you. They don't tell you all the other shit that goes along with that. The mortgage, the taxes, the repairs, all of the things that continue to grow with that house as it ages. But the other thing they don't tell you is that when you become settled, you settle into a space where your dreams no longer become reality, they become a fleeting memory. Those attachments that we hold on to, those attachments we need to show to others what we are, why we are, where we are, really mean nothing in the grand scheme of it. Because at the end of the day, when you die, everything will be sold or given away. But in between you acquiring these things and holding on to these things, you have to find yourself over and over and over again. You can't rest on your past success. One of the things that annoys me beyond belief is when I meet someone who attended an Ivy, be it Cornell or Harvard, Yale, Princeton, Brown, whatever one it is, and they are in their late 40s, early 50s, and their calling card is, I went to Cornell, I went to Yale, I went to NYU, I went to Columbia. Okay, what else have you done? Because you did that in your 20s. What have you done in your 30s, your 40s, and your 50s? And the misnomer about that is, if I tell you I attended Harvard, I don't have to prove to you I'm smart, because you make the assumption, because of the way Harvard and the Ivies are marketed, that you are smart. So I should listen to every word you say. That material degree, that thing that you rest on, also hides your ability, hides your dreams, your goals, and you having to work for anything. The attachment to material things are important. Please do not misunderstand that I think I'm being dismissive of it. I'm very proud of all of my degrees, regardless of where I went to college to get them. I am very proud that I have them. But those are tools. Those are not things for me to say, oh, I went to so-and-so and so, and I went to so-and-so and so, and I went to so-and-so and so. Because it's unimportant where I went at this point. What's important is, can I do the job I say I can do? Can I write a private placement memorandum? Can I do a 3-year financial? Can I write a pro forma? Can I do what is necessary for the business or the person who's hiring me to create the plan, the investment document, the business plan, the contracts? Can I do those things that secure who they are and what their business is growing into? The watches, yeah, they're a hobby. They come, they go. The artwork, something I love to see. Some I'm selling, some I'm keeping, some I don't even want, I just give away. But there are some key components that no matter what I do, how I do, and why I do, always will bring a smile to my face. And because of that, that also helps me to remember where I've been and where I need to go. It is the simplest things that remind you of where you want to go. And if you're lucky and you can find a space and time to hold on to that, you're in a good place. I forgot all about wanting to be a writer and how that was something I thought was a beautiful thing, storytelling. I thought I had to be more practical. I'm a firstborn, and so my practicalness became the responsible thing to do. But the universe has a way of always bringing you back to what you were destined to be. I am happiest when I am writing, creating, developing, building, branding what I created. If it's a jingle I'm writing or intro music to something I've created or a series I'm trying to sell or trying to produce, all of it becomes an amazing space for my intellect, my talent, my gifts, my very left brain, right brain. And in those moments when I get depressed or I get unfulfilled or uninspired, that very first watch I bought, that tag, brings a smile to my face. I get to see where I was and where I am today. Those are markers. Those are not things that you should use to brag about your success to others, but that should be an internal success to yourself. I try very hard not to let the opinions of other people cloud my judgment, but I'm human, and sometimes somebody says something, it makes me rethink what I did, but then I come to the resolve, I know what I'm talking about, and they're talking out their ass. But I also understand that we all have a need to be admired. We all have a need to want people to want what we have, because there's something about that desire of others that strokes our ego. But it also has the ability to keep us in the past. It has the ability to make sure that we don't move forward, because we hold on to the thing that made us successful, and we run back to it when success isn't happening. Every day is successful. Every day you wake up, it's successful. You got your rent paid today, that's success. You found something you've been looking for, that's success. All the things that are needed to become who you want to be are there. And sometimes the material attachments to the past keeps us there without opening up new doors or opening up windows and climbing through to see what other things we can acquire. I want you to remember that there's nothing wrong with holding on to material attachments. But if those material attachments tie you to your past that keeps you from moving into your future, then is the thing that you're holding on to worth it? Stay woke. We out.
Everyone knows winter is the real mess maker. You don't need WeatherTech floor liners for summer, unless you hit the beach and half the beach ends up back in your car, or the campsite dirt ends up in your trunk. Then you'd want a cargo liner. Or a road trip goes sideways, lemonade spills, ketchup goes rogue, ice cream drips. Yeah, you'd be pretty happy about those WeatherTech seat protectors. So just to be clear, as the mud you're inevitably going to step in this summer, you don't need WeatherTech. Unless you plan on doing summer. Visit WeatherTech.com today.